Well, as solo founders, as you know, at one stage you're going to build up a team because you start finding a problem solution fit, you start getting motion, you start scaling your business. So in this case, I'm going to create my virtual team because I'm a solo founder. And if you think about it, I want a ISP research department. So every time I put in raw data, like I don't know, transcripts from my conversation with customers, I can just drag it in and it will identify any specific um, insights to update my ISP profile, right? So and I'm going to develop these rules. By the way, I'm going to explain this a little bit. This is my structure. This is why I'm going to create a virtual team. And basically, I'm creating these departments as folders. The next department or folder is enablement. So where I'm building business, so I can drop in a use case if I wanted to. I had a conversation with a customer, went good, they agreed to a use case. I'm going to just put in the conversation, boom, into a folder, and it has all the rules. So the DM, the markup markdown file, is basically an internal rules or brain of how Claude in this department would function. The rules and memory. So basically rules and how it would engage and develop any output in a simple sense, right? So next department I want to create is an experiment department. As you know, in my sprint sort of framework, if I go back here, it's in the blog. It's about you're running these experiments. Where was it? So layer 2. Yeah, so you're running these sprint experiments. I'll talk about that. Anyway, it's not the point. So I'll go back to the structure of my folder. And the last one I want to do is, because I do videos like this, I want to repurpose them. So in this content repurpose department, it will actually, again, extract out the content, the transcript, and I get my agent, my employee, to develop all pieces of content, which we're going to develop. So this is my structure that I want to develop. What we need to do now is go into terminal. So, and by the way, if you don't just search for terminal in your Finder. In PC, you can do that as well. But let me go back to my terminal. I've created the structure of the folder. So what I'm going to do is change to that folder. So you can see here now I've changed the folder. Now what I'm going to do is I've already installed Claude Code. So there are many videos to do that, but essentially there's a URL. You click onto it, it will install it, it will verify your account, and it's quite simple. It's maybe a 5-minute job. So what I'm going to do now is type in Claude, if I can type in properly, and it's going to call in Claude. So it's going to load Claude into my GTM solo folder, my path here. Okay, so this is now I'm going to go into, it's going to build this out, right? But let me so it's going to ask me, would you allow to edit? So what this is, it's okay. I'm going to make, so these are the departments. You can see raw, so each is a subfolder within the departments. There's raw data, there's an analysis part, and there's an output. Similar to this, right? There's a customer conversations, your Gong video, Gong conversations, or your Loom, whatever. You might have templates around how you want to update those, battle cards, for example, you want to update, and then it'll be an output where it will generate the output file. It's like a staff, exactly like a staff, similar to the GTM experiments. I'll add in all my LinkedIn ads, I'll put in my call emails and any other content, partnerships, whatever. Again, I can put in an output file where I can do this later, but for now, I just want to give you a flavor for what's happening. And then there's also the repurposing content. Again, I'm going to input content, and there's a template that I wanted to follow, and then there's an output. As simple as that. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to ask it yes, allow during set. No, I'm going to just allow for. So it's going to create that you can see here it's creating the individual departments. You can see the ISP departments. So I'm going to do continue. Yes, continue. So it's going to build the next one out. Yes, I should say yes completely to it. So it's building all these components that I yes allow for. To make it this faster. So I'm building essentially the components or the departments, and I already have an error there. So we'll look at that later. Proceed, allow to access. Yes, I want to have access to it as well. We're going through all the other errors later. Yes, I want to create the output as well. So I'm creating the structure of the folder for it so I can read, invite, and so forth. So it's going to turn on to do that. And then once it's finished, I'm going to type in, I think it's done. So let me just go context to see if it's actually created. Context is basically points out to the structure, allow all the four departments to be sort of set. So it's got there all the departments. I want to just, it's still churning, initializing now, retro first. Okay, now it's initializing now. Let me see, it's got a few more things it needs to do. Accept edits. I'm going to accept those edits. So I'm going to just quickly, yes, do you want to proceed? Yes, I don't want to, okay, let's go yes. And what we're going to do today, we're going to do an example of how we can actually create some piece of work. I'm going to go yes for all of it now. For just this is for the sake of video because we want to make sure we get through this. It's already we're going to 8 minutes, so I'm going to pause a little bit and so let this and I'll show you what's been built. So it's done it, and now what we're going to do is I just want to confirm it, and then what we'll do is just do context. Context, okay. Context. There we go. And that's what you want to see. You want to see there's no any issues and stuff. So the skills we can talk about in another video, but basically it's next level down underneath your DMs and so forth. But for now, that's good. It's done. I can build those skills out, but I don't want to do it now. So what we're going to do is clear. So we're going to clear it out and then start building out some of the components. Clear. Let's see. Okay, cleared. How can I help? Okay, so I want to go here. I was going to change directory, and I want to go into this department specifically. You're now working on this department. Would you like to work? Okay. So now what I'll do is I want to create sort of the markdown file instructions essentially, and I'm going to paste this inside here because it's a long stuff, but I'll show it to you. So here it is there. So I'm asking it to create this Claude MD file, which gives me all the instructions that the governance of what I want to create. So I want to create from one. In this case, I'm just going to focus on one repurposing. I'll do the rest in another if you're interested. But I want to create articles. I want to create posts. I want from one like input. Twitter statements. I want to create a newsletter. I want to create video hooks, and I want to create. So I want to do multiple things going forward. So it's building this out, including my voice. You see there? It's got it there. There's my voice there. The contents formats, and it's. Do you want to do the same for the three departments? I'm going to say no for now, right? So, but I just want you, get the feel for what I've done. These are the detailed instructions for my department. In this case, this department I'm focusing purely on the content repurpose. Okay. So it says here, update the rule. So it's been updated, all the rules are updated. What I want to do is take one of my videos. If I go here, go back to the YouTube, okay? Get into one of my YouTube videos. I'm just going to go copy and get my video. By the way, that's a good video you should be watching. I'm using Claude. So, okay, so you've probably seen this or not, I don't know. But I'm going to just copy the script because I want to repurpose this with the instruction with one of my content agents, okay? So if I go back to more, I have my transcript. So I'm going to just copy and paste this into a notepad. And I'm going to save it into my sort of input folder. So I can instruct it to go and take this. Actually, what I can do, I can actually paste it into Claude as well directly. So let me get let me copy and paste this quickly. So I've got so I just copy and paste the content of my transcript into Notepad, and I'm just going to paste. Now I'm going to just ask it to create the file. So what I'm going to do is just say create a file, and I'll paste the transcript in this text. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go back into my transcript. Paste. It's now waiting for me to. There we go. So that's the whole transcript. Basically, I just copy and paste in my transcript. Okay. So, but you imagine, I'm just all I'm doing at the moment is creating the folders for my virtual team, creating the rules for my my staff, virtual staff, And now I'm just giving you an example of repurposing department. I want to get that into action, and I can do the rest of the departments as well. Because this is, as you know, it's initializing, it's doing, it's churning, it's looking at all the, looking at my instructions and going back to my content. It's going to create insights, and basically, it's basically what I covered in the instructions the previous. If you scroll up, go back here, it's covering all these things. Okay, that's what it's doing. But the next thing I want to do is really now it's transformed my 14. What it moved it into, it's going to create, I don't know, 20 plus assets that I'm going to show. Let me just quickly see how it's going. It's too initialized, so let me see how long it takes. But the idea is I gave it information. Now I wanted to do some work, right? I have basically onboarded my staff, and now I want to get them to do some quick work. Okay, so that didn't take that long actually. It was only like a few seconds. So it's created that, it saved so it's got the folder, so it saved everything. So now I'm going to paste in another, basically instructions of exactly what I want. So this is like when you have one-on-one staff. So okay, I want you to create 100 and I don't know, like one LinkedIn post, right? I want it to be 1,500 words or characters, whatever you want. I want 5 LinkedIn 300-word posts for that I can spread over across the month. I want one Twitter Twitter post. I want several. So you basically, and I'll just do it now. Okay. So I just this is my paste. I just pasted in stuff. These are the what I want to develop. So I instructed my staff to develop all this. So we had a one-on-one meeting. I said, okay, I want a LinkedIn post. I want 5 a LinkedIn article. I want a LinkedIn 5 LinkedIn posts. I want 8 Twitter statements. And these are the sort of rules I want. Basic instruction. I want to, like, hey, you have team members, right? We have a content, a copywriter, right? You give them a brief in terms of what the actions are. So this is going to churn out, and I was going to say yes. Okay, let's just continue to build that. It's going to build it and write it into these output files. And we're going to go there and see these output files and see what it's done. And again, we'll come back to this. It's evaluating it already. It's pretty fast. But you can see how I get here. I have a staff that can cost $400,000 departments, right? Say I have 4 departments. Employ these departments. You have to train these people, onboard them, but I'm not going to onboard them once, and I'm getting instruction. And by the way, I can update in the instructions if I wanted to, the rules, the brain. Remember the Claude, the markdown files. I can update the instructions for other stuff. If as you pivot and learn, you want to increase that, so I can do that as well. So, but you can see here, oh look, it's developing. It's generated this is so cool, huh? It's generated the LinkedIn articles. It's got my LinkedIn 5 LinkedIn posts. It's got my Twitter statements. It's got my newsletter. It's got everything. It's now generating the output for it. So we're going to go and look at these output and see what happens. But this is the stuff in real time. It's doing what I'm asking it to. So again, it's pretty amazing to have the power of a solar founder. This is what I believe in. I really believe that as a solar founder, you can actually now use agents, things like Claude Code to enable and network and build your stuff that you need, your GTM model live. And it's all saved in your folder. It's like exactly like a staff, really. So let this generate, and I'll show you the output. I just want to keep on showing you a little bit this. Look, it's done the you can see here the tasks are being all done simultaneously, like staff, right? The agent has saying, I've done this, I've done the LinkedIn article, I've done the post, I've done the Twitter thread for you, and it's done. It's generating the complete newsletter, finishing the files, now doing all the output for me, so I can go and see that. It's pretty. These are all little agents. And by the way, you notice when I said in part of that, you notice I didn't use the word feel free in to use multiple agents. So when I said here feel free to use multiple. So I wanted to not waste time, so it doesn't have to wait. It just can do things simultaneously, and that's again, little things in your prompting is important. And it just delivers and go, all agents have completed. Okay, files. Let's see what's has done. Let's go into, so I go to my documents there, and I go into my content created. These are my output files, and you can see here, these are the markup files, all done for me. Boom, look at this. This is all the content that I would take ages to create. Now, of course, I can pretty it up, and but you can see here, they're all my content are done. My quotes for my threads are done here as well. Look at that, the quotes. There, I spent $21 on pressing it ranks. Well, these are the quotes that I have. This would taken me ages to create, and now I've got everything that I need, all my assets, my video transcripts. These are snippets of that as well. The threads as well. Look, these are the threads. Or you can see here, I can just copy and paste these and start running. Or I can make another automation to automate this as well. This is pretty amazing that I've done this in a few minutes. I've created a virtual team that I can now deploy and reuse again and again. And by the way, so what I'm doing now is just I want to reconvert, update all these into HTMLs, just so you can see. I can actually embed also my branding. But look, I'm like a staff member. I'm going back to my staff and say, hey, can you update these into a nice branding? So it's converting all these output that I have into HTML, and I can show you those as well. I'm trying to illustrate the power of my staff members. I can give one instructions and it goes and creates and reformats things as I like with any other staff member, right? So let's see what the output of this would look like. Okay, so now I've done my, so you had the markup markdown files, but these are my HTMLs, and I wanted it to be a bind to the brand. You can see here, freaking amazing. That's my LinkedIn, that's my newsletter. Let me see what my article looks like. Again, look at that, amazing. It's all this is my staff member has just finished. There's one of the posts. Look at that. Or on brand compliant that I can add I can use this in my website as well. Let's see my quotes here, HTML quotes. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I can have it hosted. You see there the power of these 6 agents that I created. So all I had to create, as I said, is the team structure, some rules for each of the departments, and then give them instructions, and I can reuse it. Another video I created or another blog post, whatever, I can actually get it repurposed in multiple ways in seconds. And then that's a staff member, if I don't say. I've saved $400,000 just on developing my, and in the 20 minutes that we've been talking in this conversation. So that's it, folks. Claude Code, amazing. Please try it out. There's a lot of videos on how to set up very simple a URL that you click, and I can cover that in another video if you want. Just make comments and I'll do that. And the rest is just, as you can see, now I'm going to go develop the next other departments, so I can have my full virtual team ready to go whenever I need to. And until then, please subscribe, like, comment, because then I can continue to do these videos for you and your education. Thank you. Bye-bye.